Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We start our session of press briefings for today in Ukraine Crisis Media Center, and here was the latest updates from the anti-terrorist operation zones from the eastern Ukraine, the Colonel Andriy Lysenko, the National Security and Defense Council Information Center spokesman. Шановні пані і панове, вітаю в Українському кризовому медіа-центрі. Ми розпочинаємо наш сьогоднішній робочий день з прес-брифінга Андрія Лисенка, речника інформаційного центру РНБО. Прошу, пане Андрію.
Доброго дня, шановні колеги.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. The anti-terrorist operation forces narrowed the encirclement of the position of terrorists in Donetsk and Luhansk region. There is an operation ongoing with the blocking of all the kinds of delivery to Russian mercenaries. The most tense is the situation in the vicinity of Alchevsk, Luhansk, Krasny Luch, Krasnodon, Gorlievka, Makiyivka, Donetsk, Ilovaisk, Shakhtarsk, Torez, and Snizhne, where the active combat actions are going on. Over the 24 hours on the positions and road checkpoints of the armed forces of Ukraine 25 times exchanged fire with illegal armed formations in the vicinity of Nizhne Teple, Верхня Кринка, Земляне, Варгунський роз'їзд, Ольгинське, Степанівка, Іловайськ, Сабівка, Красний Яр, Придорожня, Трьохізбенка, Фашівка, Стукалова, Балка, Петрівське, Нижня Вільховка, Комишувата, Сіверськ-Серебрянка, and Kumachев. The firing and shelling of the dislocation of the sites of location of border units are going on, including the ones from the territory of Russia. Yesterday at 10:45 to 11 p.m. in the vicinity of the Russian village Voloshino, the Russians have shelled from artillery and mortars Ukrainian bodyguard unit in the vicinity of Krasnotalivka in Luhansk region. And half an hour before the shelling, at the height of 2 kilometers, the Russian drone was spotted from 10:40 to 11:30 p.m. from territory of Russia in the direction of Monotsky, Kamyshine. The Russians shelled from artillery the Ukrainian border road post in Luhansk region. Yesterday, twice from mortars and artillery from the territory of Russia, they shelled the border crossing point Uspenka. As a result, the building and communication lines were damaged. The Ukrainian citizens continue to support the army as volunteers. The workers of the Ministry of Infrastructure collected money and transferred to National Guards optical sights, binoculars, and heat sighter. The state is in reinforcing the protection of the rights of children on the period of mobilization, and the President of Ukraine signed the decree on the changes to some laws of Ukraine on the strengthening of the protection of the rights of children. Now, the men are not to be mobilized who are responsible for the upkeep of 3 and more children of the age up to 18 years, and the women who are responsible for upkeep of the kids of the age up to 18 years. Also exempt from the draft are men and women who solely bring up children of the age up to 18 years. Besides, the women who are responsible for the upbringing of children of the age up to 18 years are exempt from military service if they do not want to continue it. At the moment, from now on, the money help when being dismissed from the army, they will be paid to women who serve, who have children up to 18 years, while previously it was paid to those women who have children up to 16 years. The Ministry of Defense initiates a program of social adaptation of veterans of this undeclared war and members of their families, and participants in the anti-terrorist operation will be able to join a higher educational establishments on special conditions. The militants continue to fire and shell at residential blocks in Donetsk and Luhansk region, as a result of which peaceful residents suffer. At the moment, as of today, in Donetsk region, as a result of shelling by terrorists, 143 educational establishments are damaged. As a rule, this ruination is inflicted by the Russian weapons, which is the real essence of the Russian humanitarian help for Donbass. We can see people with the weaponry with which they inflict this damage, because of which our peaceful residents suffer. We have information that militants have seized mines in Sverdlovsk, and they are mostly concentrated in administrative buildings of the mines, and provide themselves with food, electricity, water, and communication. While retreating from Vuhlegirsk, Donetsk region, they have exploded a car bridge. Also, there's information about the mining by Russian subversive agents of infrastructure objects like mines and cities and bridge in the village of Nizhnya Krinka. And they also have seized a school and the Palace of Culture not far from Krasny Luch. Because of the complicated situation in the region, on the 2nd of August, through a humanitarian corridor in the city of Shastya in Luhansk region, 351 people left on 80 cars. Over the entire time of the work of the corridor, over 6,000 people from Luhansk used this corridor. You can dial hotline in order to help to get help for refugees in Svatove, 050-1691-294, 09734099970, 09613311796, also 06471333650. International organizations are sending to Ukraine humanitarian cargo for residents of the East who suffer from the actions of terrorists. For instance, European Union countries are providing Ukraine with the help to the tune of 2.5 million euro. The president of Georgia also said that they are ready to join international humanitarian help, because Georgia in the past was also objects of aggression and understands the complexity of the situation in which Ukraine found itself. The coordination of this activity is the responsibility of the International Committee of Red Cross. The cargoes are delivered to you by the transportation hired by the Red Cross and have to pass through the Ukrainian crossing points and be inspected by the customs of Ukraine. The head of the French Ministry for Foreign Affairs, Laurent Fabius, emphasized that the question of entry into Ukraine of the convoy of humanitarian help is to be agreed with official Kiev, and has not excluded the attempt of Moscow to establish in such a way its constant presence in our country. The Minister for Foreign Affairs Australia, Julia Bishop, said that any attempt by Moscow to introduce troops in Donbass under the cover of humanitarian mission will be decisively condemned by the Australian power. If Russia were worried about the humanitarian situation in Ukraine, they would do otherwise.
Humanitarian assistance. Is it clear? Has there any agreement with Russia, and is it possible? Is it true that everything will be reloaded, or Russians will be allowed to take that cargo to? So is everything clear with this humanitarian assistance from Russia? Receiving humanitarian cargoes and deliver them through the territory of Ukraine to regions where they are needed. Representatives of International Red Cross organization are responsible for that. They receive information from countries' donors, what kind of assistance they provide. They examine those goods and items, and if the list matches what is required and allowed, if there is no threat from those goods, then Red Cross will deliver that supply to the location. They worked before in Ukraine, and they were responsible for the delivery of other cargoes. A lot of countries express their support and initiative as to providing humanitarian assistance to Ukraine, but everything is done according to international law and the rules of International Committee of Red Cross, and according to Customs Code of Ukraine, which must be enforced. As usually, cargoes are sent to transit area. They are examined by Red Cross there, and then they build columns to deliver those supplies to the location. The situation as to casualties during the last day, do you have any information? Could you comment what happened to the right sector? Because the bus was destroyed and people were killed there. What was there in Yasenovata, if you have any information? Because half of the city is destroyed completely. And one more question about Luhansk. Is it clear how many gunmen are there? What kind of forces are there? What's the difficulty in terms of capturing them? According to official information which we received without that incident near Donetsk, during the last day we had 10 Ukrainian military died, 41 got wounded. As to Donetsk situation, we don't have a clear information how many people died, because they belong to the battalion of territorial defense. I have to emphasize, if someone joins military units, armed forces, they automatically stop their membership in any political party. That's why to say that it's a right sector because it's a political party. It's not correct to say that they are from right sector. Yasenovata and Luhansk, there are operations there to liberate those cities, and I cannot give you more details at the moment. You stated that in Horlovka, electric substation was damaged and 4 pumps stopped at the mine number 5. There was a threat of floods. We don't have information, but rescue groups went to the location and they were trying to correct it, to fix the problem. If you need, I will clarify and I will inform you during the next meeting. German TV. Will the Ukrainian military men, will they accompany convoy Russian humanitarian aid? Thank you for your aid. Ukraine provides security to that column with humanitarian aid to the place of destination. We have one more question here. As to Brigade 72, there are still pickets near that military unit in Bila Tserkva. The parents are there. They want their sons to get vacations, but they plan to send them back to ATO. In Mariupol, they continue to mobilize people to Brigade S-72. When will it be sent to ATO? I cannot provide that information right now because it is classified. Some military men from the brigade are on vacations, and others will be allowed in time because we have rotation principle, and the brigade cannot be just go for vacations. So all brigade, it should be ready for combat. That's why we use a rotation approach to vacations. We have information, we got information that the column of Russian commanders with human aid split. One part went to Zvorino, the other part went to Kharkiv region. And we have such information. And Russian media informed that in Musinsk, that Ukrainian troops withdraw from Musinsk. I cannot make any comment to both questions because we don't have information where that column is of Russian humanitarian aid as to Musinsk. I doubt our armed forces will withdraw. If they capture something, and they will just hold it tight, and they will grow their capabilities there. Thank you very much. Next briefing will be at 5 o'clock. Thank you.